Let's start with the news.
Yeah,
Breaking news. The big news. This happened after you were done with Mike on PFT, correct?
Yeah,
so we
right.
haven't had your full take on it.
No, we have not.
Although you did hint last week that you thought the Dallas Cowboys might go in this direction, and that might be wise to go in this direction. Mike McCarthy is going to be their new head coach. Jay Glazer of Fox was first to report that, then was backed up by everyone else. Not a huge surprise from what we've been hearing from the Cowboys. They want an established guy. They didn't necessarily want to go the college route.
I didn't know if I believed them, but yes, they showed us.
Even though they've done that in the past, and it's worked out fairly well with Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer. So Mike McCarthy, in 13 years in Green Bay, 9 of them, they went to the playoffs.
Yep.
They did also have Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, they did.
And that makes it a little less impressive, perhaps, when you have one of the best, if not the best, quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
So your thoughts? What do you think of Mike McCarthy, the fit in Dallas?
I like the hire a lot. You know, this is something I said last Thursday, January 2nd, on the PFT show. I mean, to me, this made the most sense for the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, of course, you have a young team that's in the window right now, right? Do you want a young college coach and Lincoln Riley, or just a college coach in general who's going to be like, oh, I have a Super Bowl ready team, but I'm not really ready for the Super Bowl, and I'm trying to figure this out and how I want to approach being a coach in the NFL? That didn't make any sense to me, and I think that's ultimately why the Cowboys did this. I really like Mike McCarthy. I've always liked Mike McCarthy, the head coach. I have not liked Mike McCarthy, the play caller. It got stale at the end. Now, this offense has a ton of talent. It's got more talent than he had in Green Bay. He's been very self-reflecting and saying that he got a little stale on offense in a few things I've read over the last 2-3 weeks. He even said it in an interview on camera. So I think he realizes that, but I think this is the right move. I mean, one thing I'll say about, Mike McCarthy, his teams were always tough, buttoned up, detailed, understood, situational football that way. Like I said, my only negative was offensive creativity. So we'll see where he goes. I mean, if I'm Mike McCarthy and if I'm Jerry Jones, I might say, like, hey, Kellen Moore, stay around. Let's be collaborative. Maybe I'll call the plays, but I like what you did on offense this past year. So it makes a lot of sense from that standpoint. And then the next thing is, what are they going to do with the defense? Because to me, the more frustrating thing with the Cowboys this past year, more than their offense, was their defense. I mean, that defense is super, super talented. They feasted on the poor, and the rich really had their way. If it was a team that played them that had a good quarterback and a little bit of a system, the Cowboys couldn't stop anything. So that's the next piece.
So why not hire a defensive-minded coach then? Why not go to this team and say, okay, Mike McCarthy is known as an offensive guy, but then he left his last job after he self-admittedly was a little stale. So you bring him in and you say, all right, last time you're the offensive guy, but you admitted that you were a little stale at the end of it.
Right.
You had Aaron Rodgers for all those years. What are you going to add to the offense? We don't quite know.
No.
What are you going to add to the defense? We don't quite know.
No, we don't. We don't know where he's going to go there. Now, I will say this. Mike McCarthy, in his history, has believed in a coordinator in Dom Capers or Mike Pettin, which are, to me, again, I'd like him to go somewhere along that line. Those are game plan specific guys. They're not guys that go, this is what we do and we don't change and we're just going to be sound and hustle and tackle. Like you've heard me say a million times this year, that shit's over. It's got to change. So, yeah, the defensive minds that were out there, Chris Richard runs that defense.
Yeah.
Robert Saleh runs that defense. All right, so there's 2. Wink Martindale, maybe they just weren't willing to wait. The Baltimore Ravens defensive coordinator, he's one guy I look at to go, yeah, I think he's head coach material. No doubt about it. He's brilliant on what he does on that side of the ball. Players love him, everything like that. He's not going to look like all perfect in front of the podium, so maybe that went through their head. But, again, I don't think they were willing to wait maybe, and they just wanted to get this going and make this next change and get Jason Garrett out the door and start, the 2020 season and get it off with the head coach and Mike McCarthy.
He's a CEO type, it seems like, coming in here in a league where the CEO type isn't necessarily in vogue right now. You see a lot of teams being successful with coordinators that are taking over one side of the ball. But I can see the appeal of that. If you're the Dallas Cowboys, it's like, okay, we think we have the pieces in place. We even maybe have some of the coaching staff in place.
Yes.
We have the players. We just need someone who's won before in the league and has experienced a lot of things in the league just to take it to the next level or put his stamp on it.
Well, yeah, and the CEO thing to me is like we're going too far the other way now, I need a play caller. I need a play caller. I need a play caller. Oh, there is something to manage in the football game. First of all, Bill Belichick, he's more of a CEO. he's not in there every day with the nuts and bolts of the details of, oh, we got to make this call and defense run this. He goes into it. He tells his coordinators, we have issues here. They got issues there. We need to attack this. He gives them overviews, and then they build game plans off that. I know that's how Bill Parcells operated it back in the day. I'm sure that's how John Harbaugh in Baltimore operates. It's not like, hey, guys, I want to make sure we do a molly block versus this and then do a dual block to the linebacker. Like, he's not doing that.
It does sound like a good idea.
It sounds like a good idea. But no, he just walks into a room and goes, hey, they're weak in the middle. Like, we need to run at this guy, blah, blah, blah. And then they figure out ways to do that. That can be a good head coach, too.
What do you think it means for Dak? Can you tell anything? What do you think it could mean?
Well, I mean, to me, I think it's inevitable before Dak signs a long-term deal here with the Dallas Cowboys.
But do you think he can raise his level?
I do, and I think Dak had an amazing year. I think this is going to give him a little more direction of, how to play the complete full game, and maybe like, hey, this is our game plan thought going into the game, and he'll have a better feel for that instead of what I always argued last year was, a lot of yards and stats that didn't necessarily correlate to points and wins, and that was because maybe a lack of a theme or lack of a go-to game plan theme to build on. And like I told you a lot of times, it just seemed like a Rolodex of plays in Dallas. There wasn't like, oh, we're trying to work the run game, and then off that we'll have some play action. Like, I never knew what the theme was in Dallas's offense. So I think McCarthy's going to teach him that, and I would be shocked if he's not signed up long-term here, sometime in the next few months.
It'll be interesting to hear who he retains from that staff, because they're offensively, Kellen Moore, that was a pretty good offense this year. Didn't always put up points with all those yards, but I think they had a lot of things going in the right direction.
Definitely.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.